Poe's To Kill a Mockingbird. This book has been the center of a curriculum that favors the comfort of its white learners for near 6 decades, a whole 60 years. The center of high school racism conversations, and more likely than not introduces non-Black readers to the realities of the systemic racism that Black America faces. But is this the best book to teach what it does? And should we continue teaching it the way we do, or teach it at all? Hi, and welcome to The Corner. Let's dive in. To Kill a Mockingbird has its pattern. In 9th grade, curriculums toss it into the reading list for students to have their lesson on the history of racism and put little to no other books about race in the lesson plans again. The issue with this is that it is intensely performative. At its core, it's a book about a young white girl and her innocence being shaken by the realities of racism. It's not about Tom Robinson, the Black man who ends up dying at the hands of the police later in jail. And despite the fact that most white students can relate to it, the message doesn't get through the same to students of color, who live that reality daily. It's not a racism story. It's the coming of age of a young white girl, written by a white author 60 years ago. Performative activism, or slacktivism, is the practice of showing you support a cause through small means, characterized as involving very little effort and commitment. Teaching an outdated white narrative as your contemporary race story without attempting to change it for a more modern story from a Black perspective is performative, as it lacks effort or care. A valid argument for To Kill a Mockingbird is that as a high schooler, it's important to have these uncomfortable discussions about race, and I wholeheartedly agree. The issue is that To Kill a Mockingbird is not the book we should be using to have these conversations at all. Trying to start important conversations about race while reading an outdated book from a white perspective cannot foster the environment needed to truly learn and understand the struggles that Black people faced and are still facing now. On top of this, finding books from Black authors and Black perspectives isn't a difficult feat. Ghost Boys, a powerful story written in 2018, is a book about a 12-year-old Black boy shot by the police. It's an uncomfortable read for most, and it starts a conversation on systemic racism and police brutality easily, while being from the perspective of the boy who got shot. Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry is an older story about the racism a Black family faces, varying from harassment from young white students to lynch mobs and death threats. These are both much better books to have in the curriculum, as they're from Black authors and feature a Black perspective. To Kill a Mockingbird is a story about growing up, not about race. Defending its position as a book in our curriculum while knowing what the book is used to teach doesn't give a voice to the actual Black stories and authors that we should be using to start these conversations. It's okay to have had the book in the curriculum 60 years ago, when the idea of Black Americans being on an equal standing with their white counterparts was a progressive and rare one. Keeping it in the curriculum now because of the once progressive ideas, despite the multitude of other books and the now outdated and problematic themes of the book, is where the issue lies.